At number 5, Owula Hansen Lane at Tesano. I'm Frima Edunyame. Coming up. Race for NPP presidential primaries intensifies as 5 candidates submit nominations with Dr. Kofi Konadu-Apraku, Dr. Afreximbank Akoto, and Boakye Jarko among successful filers.
You can't see any bus or any big commercial vehicle bringing in people to come and support.
The plea I make to you and to your committee is that hold the line that you've drawn.
After 8 years that I would have left office, we will have competitive election in selecting regional ministers.
And mask the dark side of mobile money as Citi Newsroom exposes rising wave of Momo fraud.
I mean, my issue here is how did they even get our numbers? Because MTN need to do something about it because it's now like a common thing. They do try and look.
President Akufo-Addo highlights the role of a strong financial institution in economic recovery amidst COVID-19 and Russia-Ukraine crisis and calls for African unity to bolster Afreximbank.
Reality is that unless we have strong financial institutions, we are not going to develop. As we've learned over the past decades, relying on foreign capital is both risky and costly.
Also in the bulletin, water crisis looms in Tamale as NEDCO disconnects power to Ghana Water Company's treatment plant, citing massive debt of 39 million Ghana cedis.
There are high-level discussions on how to settle the MDAs, and we believe that if that one comes in, we believe that we would have achieved our target. The target for the second phase is 100 million Ghana cedis, and this is over a period of, say, 2 weeks.
And later in CNR Business. President Akufo-Addo urges African countries to harness extractive industry earnings for economic resilience.
Using Afreximbank grant funding, over 155 standards have been harmonized, covering priority areas of automobile, medical equipment, and pharmaceuticals.
Not 5 out of the 11 individuals who picked up nomination forms for the upcoming NPP presidential primaries have filed their nominations. 3 nominees successfully completed the filing process on Monday, and these include Dr. Kofi Konadu-Apraku, Dr. Afreximbank Akoto, and Boakye Jarko. Accompanied by their supporters, these aspirants are optimistic about their chances in the primaries. Here is a full report.
These 3 candidates joined Dr. Mahmoud Baumia and Alan Chermatin, who filed their forms last week. Dr. Kofi Konadu-Apraku, a former Minister of Trade and Industry, was the first to attempt filing on Monday. However, the Elections Committee identified some anomalies in his documents and advised him to make necessary amendments and additions. Dr. Apraku left the NPP headquarters to address the issues as advised.
When Dr. Apraku came, there was discussions and so he has had to go back and come again to submit full documents to complete the filing process. And so it must not be carried out there that the party has rejected his nomination forms. Forms must be signed.
Next, former Minister of Agriculture Dr. Afreximbank Akoto visited the party headquarters with members of his campaign team and farmer groups who support his bid. unlike Dr. Kofi Konedu Apraku, Dr. Akoto's nomination had no issues during inspection by the committee. Although the crowd accompanying Dr. Akoto was not as large as those who joined Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia during his filing, he remained unfazed, believing that some individuals were biased to the venue.
Everybody who has come here, including representatives of farmers, are here on their own accord. You can't see any bus or any big commercial vehicle bringing in people to come and support. People have come on their own volition and of their very tight conviction that my candidature for the flag bearership of this party will be good for the new patriotic party.
Dr. Koto took the opportunity to reiterate his vision of utilizing agriculture to drive Ghana's economic agenda if elected as president.
I can assure you, the same way I was able to bring agriculture to the front line of policy discussion, it will be the same way that agriculture will be used to take us out of the clutches of the IMF. Because the agricultural sector in this country has great potential, and we haven't even scratched the surface of it.
Former Energy Minister Boakye Ejakun was greeted with drumming, dancing, and praise from his supporters upon arriving at the party headquarters. After filing his forms, he called on the party to take action against candidates and party executives who have been violating election rules.
Please do not hold yourself aloof from the entire point, thinking that if rules are broken, everybody is going to look on as we've looked on in the past. The plea I make to you and to your committee is that hold the line that you've drawn. I respect the line, I respect the party, I will not break it. But say obi bu mimi muwa no obi buwa ninju.
The party's director of election stated that he has not received any reports of such violations and urged the former energy minister to officially lodge complaints with the party for resolution.
That is not before me. I've not received any petition. I'm not aware the General Secretary has also been petitioned. And so if there's any, and you heard me telling them that if he happens to have any issue, they shouldn't hesitate to inform the appropriate committee, i.e. the OK committee. So for all those things that Mr. Ejakun mentioned, I'll expect him that where he thinks that somebody is flouting the rules, he made the appropriate petition to the appropriate secretariat and it to be addressed.
Later, Dr. Kofi Konedu Apraku returned with his completed forms, which were accepted by the party.
If I were president, I would start off with the government structure and I would dramatically change what we have. I will look at our constitution that offers too much power to the presidency, and I will work to ensure that perhaps after 8 years that I would have left office, we will have competitive election in selecting regional ministers, competitive election in DC East.
The New Patriotic Party is getting close to the end of the period for the filing of its nominations. The party is hoping that all those who picked up the forms will come up and file their forms. Reporting for Citi News, Hansen Ajiman.
Now, in a rapidly evolving world driven by technological advancements, mobile money has revolutionized financial transactions, providing convenience and accessibility. However, this digital revolution has also spawned a sinister underbelly of mobile money fraudsters who prey on unsuspecting individuals. Now, Citi News' Agnes Boakye brings you more in this report read by Kweku Ejiamansa.
Azo not her real name, recently fell victim to mobile money fraudsters, an experience she will never forget.
I was at a funeral when my phone belled and I picked. After picking, I was told that they are calling from MTN office and they are training 100 people for mobile money. And I was the only one left. They called me so many times. I didn't pick the phone. So in fact, because I was trying to start with the mobile money business, or the mobile money business, I got frightened. So I told them I didn't receive any call previously. And they said they will call some numbers. I should write them on a paper so that they will train me on the phone. So I picked a paper and pen, and they were calling the numbers. So after writing the numbers, they said we should start the training. And when they call the number, I should dial it. When they call it, I should write it on the list. So we were writing. So it came to a time, my mind told me something. So I have to cut the line. When I cut the line, they told me, why should I cut the line? I told them I didn't cut the line, but it was a network. But before then, I had to check my account. I was having 31 million on my phone. Before I realized, I was left with 0.03. So I came into my sense that they were fraudsters. And they were calling me with different numbers, different numbers. So when I started calling them, they refused to pick the phone up to today.
Hajia, who narrowly escaped becoming a victim, shared her story. When a fraudster contacted her, she couldn't recall her mobile money pin immediately, saving her from falling into the scam.
And I made phone na koma menu aba ku say yes my win scabu e wo me mobile money so and I menu an ka say sa and me ka say enti so be ma me number no enti number no e bia me ntimi nkai number no enti me di ma no na onu nji number no ma me enti me di ma no pe na omo ba bebo number no ama no na omo bisa ne say phone wura na nkasa wo he na o ka say phone wura no enia na ni nua na wo di phone na ama no na omo ka say omo fa phone no koma ni wura. And Hana Minuano about catcher me say, and it says, come a fana, almost person ye me as I and I make us a show was I, and to mammy from Mubu. Timmy almost outside from enemy castle. The Omocasa me and Micra me number and Nimitri went to me there, Minya number no mom, intimate to among Cabu.
For Amadou Baba, her sister's traumatic encounter with a mobile money fraudster resulted in the loss of hundreds of cedis, serving as a stark warning for her.
It was money that was meant for her to do something for a kid, and these people took the money. And me, my issue here is how did they even get our numbers? Because MTN need to do something about it, because it's now like a common thing. They do try and lock, and if you fall a victim, they will just take your money just like that. Like I was saying, just this afternoon, somebody called me and I just told the person, please, if you have a problem, call MTN. They would rather call me.
Meanwhile, Henrietta Alute, a trader, haunted by the memory of losing 200 Ghana cedis years ago, has made the decision to refrain from engaging in mobile money transactions.
I'm afraid maybe the policy will remove the money from the account, from the mobile money. So now
low account in my phone. I've stopped booking mobile money.
While Henrietta Alute has chosen to distance herself from mobile money, there are others who believe in fighting fire with fire.
It's the making sense. Any now, baby, I want corner ko tutu form we are. Now the phone na se horo no akataso. O kataso we are no afre me back. Why?
No, message na be down for no authorize no.
They be authorized.
That's not be down for no.
They be me hui. They be o me hu authorized there.
Okay, we check out the day.
The Agents Association, deeply concerned about the prevalence of fraudsters, is advocating for improved security measures and information management to safeguard users from scams.
Now, on the part of government, what we would humbly appeal is that's the Ghana card. I think the Ghana card, yes, to some extent, has really come to reduce the level of fraudulent activities in the mobile money ecosystem. That notwithstanding, I think, we can do more. Okay, because in recent times you realize that when you check, there are some people, some genuine people whose Ghana card has been used to register some SIMs that are not theirs. And I think the NIA, the Ministry of Interior and the Ministry of Communication should look at some of these things and see how best they can sanitize it.
The Chamber of Telecommunications is also actively engaged in combating this menace.
The EMI Chamber of Ghana, made up of Tigo Money, MTN Mobile Money, Vodafone Cash, ZPay, and G Money. So we work together because we're a chamber. The issues of fraud is one of the common things that we deal with. So on a constant, and that's where most of the learning, the use cases would come from. And then once we do that, apart from what the members they will do themselves, we ourselves also then embark on these campaigns. And then as we speak, the IGP summoned myself and the CEOs, as well as the bank CEOs, to a meeting.
Here are some invaluable tips to protect oneself from mobile money fraud.
Nobody should come and tell a story around doubling your money or, making your money grow faster or bigger than the banks or the financial institutions can give you. If you start hearing stories like that, you have to run away. So that is your self-protection. Then you shouldn't give your physical phone to people, right, where they may have an idea of your password. Some people are using their birth dates as password. So if I have access to your phone, I can dial the short code and do a password and see whether I can access your Momo. And then the next moment I can transfer money to a number you may not know, and then we can steal money from your account. So the physical access to your device too, you have to make sure that people don't have.
You're still live on the Citi Newsroom. I'm Frima Edunyame. Still to come. Water crisis looms in Tamale as NEDCO disconnects power to Ghana Water Company's treatment plant, citing massive debt of 39 million Ghana cedis. We'll be right back shortly with the details. Don't go away.
Is the neighborhood I'm having my twins.
The very reason why I took it for us. See, the price is very good and it's spacious to contain all of us.
Alphabet City. Now I'm a landlord. I don't pay rent. And my Airbnb business is booming.
To me, Pamini, bank and I'm not say Alphabet City. The pension pay me 20%. The payment plan, I want to share my man. Just say, very smooth.
This is a healthy place to raise our families and creating peace. Come on, be my neighbor.
Alphabet City, the ABC of home sweet home.
Alphabet City is a classy and peaceful gated community in Sakomono. We have 24/7 top-notch security and high-quality access roads. We have 3 bedrooms and 2 washrooms, 3 bedrooms and 3 washrooms with boys' quarters. We have 3 bedrooms and 4 washrooms. We have 2 bedrooms and 2 washrooms, all with beautiful kitchens and kitchenettes. Call Alphabet City on 0240-111119 or 050449999. Alphabet City, the ABC of Home Sweet Home.
Pepsodent is aware that globally, 1 in 2 children suffer from cavities. That's why by giving her Pepsodent, you're not only protecting her teeth, but also helping her grow up and thrive at every stage of her life with a healthy and confident smile, so she can succeed and achieve all of her dreams. Because every smile matters.
Mido, you're not Biana. I'm going to be able to do everything. I just say, baby, shit. Mangashi.
Junior! I'm saying so enough for me, no.
Sister Coast Pa, it's a winning gas.
I'm using the why.
Why? Down Yankanawa.
Ah, Sister Coast. Use gas. Gas ye fast, ye easy, ye convenient. And tell me wow.
Let me see your hand.
Thanks for staying. Tamale, the capital of the northern region, is facing an imminent water shortage as the power distribution company NEDCO has disconnected power supply to the Ghana Water Company's treatment plant in Dalun. This action was taken due to the non-payment of electricity bills, with the water company owing over 39 million Ghana cedis in arrears. Our northern regional correspondent Dinah Ngwan brings us the full report.
The Northern Electricity Distribution Company, NEDCO, on Monday initiated the second phase of its revenue mobilization exercise aimed at recovering debts from customers. In the first phase conducted 2 months ago, the company disconnected several major institutions due to unpaid bills. However, the recovery fell short of the target, with only close to 60 million cedis out of the intended 500 million cedis being received. Osmani Aludiba Ayuba, the managing director of NEDCO, revealed in an interview that discussions are underway with debtors, primarily government institutions, to establish a settlement plan for clearing all arrears. Despite recovering approximately 60 million cedis during the first phase, the company is determined to address the outstanding debts.
We saw that as a success because in these 500 million Ghana cedis, were collections that we were also expecting to take from the MDAs, but the MDAs did not make good those monies. There are high-level discussions on how to settle the MDAs, and we believe that if that one comes in, we believe that we would have achieved our target. The target for the second phase is 100 million Ghana cedis, and this is over a period of, say, 2 weeks.
The second phase of the revenue mobilization exercise began on Monday, and the team proceeded to Dalong, where the Ghana Water Treatment Plant is located, to cut off the power supply. This treatment plant serves as the sole source of water supply for residents of Tamale and its surrounding areas. The disconnection of power to the plant raises concerns about a potential water crisis if the power is not restored. Elvis Deniyoko, the area manager for NEDCO, emphasized in an interview that this action was necessary to enable the company to recover the owed deficits.
As part of our revenue mobilization exercise, which we started somewhere last month, I think we are in the phase 2. And as part of the exercise, we need to visit some state institutions to demand payment. We did that, and we are not hearing anything from Ghana Water. So that is why we came here this morning to engage them. We engaged the management at the headworks here. They couldn't tell us anything, so we decided that we will take off the power, and we are open for them to come to the office for us to continue discussion. We hope that when they come, we can agree on something meaningful, so that we'll do the needful. As at April 2023, their bill is about 39,753,000 plus. So, but we are yet to process the May bill. So we know that that one will take the net bill to 40 million plus for only northern area. That's northern area. But here, the headworks here is owing 35 million plus, 35 million Ghana cedis plus. We have to also do our bit to make sure that we also be in operations. So we need to also supply reliable and quality supply to the hospitals so that they will be able to also carry out their operations. And if we don't do this, we will go down. And I think that there is the need for us to all take on our responsibilities to make sure that everybody in every state institutions will do his bit to make sure that we'll all be in operation.
However, it has also become apparent that the exercise has revealed gaps in service delivery. The utility company has assured the public that such issues will be addressed promptly.
We have also identified a number of issues as we went around. Those were not financial in nature, but there were things that opened our eyes to so many things on the ground. Number of customers who were not in our system were identified. Number of illegal customers were also identified. We've also realized that we also need to also improve on our service delivery. So these were some non-financial benefits added to the financial one.
I am Dinah Ngwan for Citi News.
And moving to the seat of government, President Akufo-Addo says a strong and resilient financial institution on the continent will help revive economies of many countries devastated by COVID-19 and the Russia-Ukraine war. Nana Akufo-Addo said the outbreak of the pandemic exposed the vulnerability of African countries and its financial challenges. Speaking at the 30th anniversary celebrations of the Afreximbank in Accra, Nana Akufo-Addo said all African countries must contribute to make Afreximbank a strong entity. Citi News' Summit Riafe has more in this report.
The Africa Export and Import Bank, established 30 years ago, seeks to facilitate multilateral financial assistance to promote intra- and extra-African trade. For 30 years, the bank has been deploying innovative structures to deliver financial solutions that support the transformation of the structure of Africa's trade, accelerating industrialization and intra-regional trade, thereby boosting economic expansion in Africa. A stalwart support of the African Continental Free Trade Area, Afreximbank is setting up a $10 billion adjustment fund to support countries to effectively participate in the African Continental Free Trade Area. The bank has between 2016 and 2022 disbursed over $86 billion to countries under its watch. President of the bank, Professor Peter Urama, says the bank is poised to do more to support African countries.
Closer to a truck transporting goods from Cape to Cairo, doing so seamlessly under one transit bond and not stopping anywhere because of transit issues. And thanks to the determination of our leaders and their collective efforts, the African Continental Free Trade Agreement was signed in 2018 and came into force a year later, fulfilling another key aspiration of the continent's founding leaders. To make the agreement work for Africa, a financial backbone was necessary. That is why the Secretary General of the AFCFTA Secretariat, my dear brother, His Excellency Mr. Wankelemene, says often that Afreximbank and the AFCFTA Secretariat are Siamese twins. I dare say that it is Afreximbank's existence that will give the AFCFTA the best chance of success.
President Akufo-Addo on his part says the establishment of a strong and resilient financial institution like the Afreximbank will help revive African countries devastated by COVID-19 and the Russia-Ukraine war.
It is often said that you know who is truly your friend when you are in trouble, and is rightly stated by Dr. Martin Luther King in that often cited quote, "In the end, we'll remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends," unquote. In the past, we have created highly promising financial institutions just to abandon them before they could even stand on their own, let alone grow into global financial institutions. The reality is that unless we have strong financial institutions, we are not going to develop. As we've learned over the past decades, relying on foreign capital is both risky and costly. It has resulted in huge financial leakages through the high costs of default-driven borrowing rates and interest payments, and undermined the growth of our financial institutions, domestic resource mobilization, and private sector development through cost of funds. The ownership of our financial institutions should be strengthened over time to enhance continuously their development and relevance.
Now in some other news, teachers who had their vehicles and other properties vandalized during a protest by students of the Krobia Asante Technical and Vocational Institute are demanding compensation. Now this was confirmed to Citi News by the school's Parent-Teacher Association executives who have been copied in a petition by the affected teachers who are disappointed in delays by authorities in repairing the damage caused them. Citi News' Ashanti regional correspondent Hafiz Tijani reports.
In January this year, students of the Krobia Asante Technical and Vocational Institute went on a rampage and destroyed public and private properties. The vehicles of some teachers and other belongings were also destroyed by the rampaging students. The Ashanti Regional Security Council and the TVET services subsequently closed down the school after police picked up over 40 students in connection with the disturbances. A 5-member committee was tasked to investigate the matter, and each student was levied an amount of 430 Ghana cedis to cater for the damage caused. The majority of the students have paid the amount, but the properties which were destroyed are yet to be repaired. Some teachers affected by the incident have petitioned the TVET services and copied the school's PTA. The PTA chairman of the Krobia Asante Technical and Vocational Institute explained that the affected teachers are unhappy about the development.
The mother is not very strong. That is what he uses to go and pick the mother to hospital, through and from hospital. So it has inundated him. It has made him to be losing money by contacting other people to be, doing that work for him. As I told you, the woman that's what she has been using to send the children to school and even going to market and all those things. And even those cars are the cars that they have been using in helping the children when they are sick. We have a clinic over here. Even when the children have been referred to hospitals in town, that is what they used to pick the children and send.
He also says authorities are also finding it difficult to run some services since the school's vehicles that were damaged are also yet to be repaired.
The damaged school vehicle is affecting the school. You see, as a senior school, we need such a vehicle to be sending things to the kitchen, from the stores to the kitchen. Then also picking things from town when there is the need for food has come to Kumasi for them to go and pick. All these things is no more happening. Whenever they want to bring food to the school, they now have to go and look for the services of other cars.
The PTA executives are appealing to authorities to expedite processes to compensate the affected teachers.
We are appealing to TVET. We are appealing to whoever has been named in the report to help issues, to speed up things, so that we can operate at full maximum. So let's see how TVET can help us to repair these these vehicles, all the vehicles, and whatever that was destroyed. The children, as they said, should pay. They have paid. They have paid, although we have not gotten the maximum number that we wanted, but they have paid. They have paid some. So I think we can start from somewhere by disbursing.
The students who were arrested in connection with the disturbances are still standing trial.
It's been months since the committee tasked to investigate the disturbances at the Krobia Asante Technical and Vocational Institute submitted its report to the government. The Parents Teacher Association is calling on the government to implement the recommendations of the report, including fixing the damaged vehicles of some teachers in the school. Hafiz Tijani, Citi News, Krobia Asante Technical and Vocational Institute, Ashanti Region.
You're still watching the Citi Newsroom, still to come. Non-governmental organization Ecozoil donates 50 life jackets to passengers to aid them cross the River Oti after Citi News reports. We'll be back shortly. Do stay.
It is important for husbands to support their wives who test positive for HIV when they are pregnant. The assistance I got from my husband encouraged me to follow all the guidelines given by the nurses and doctors. I gave birth to an HIV-negative child. I'm therefore appealing to all men to test for HIV and encourage their wives to do same. All pregnant women should test for HIV and follow instructions given by their healthcare providers. This will help them to have HIV-free babies. Men and women, let's work together to have an HIV-free generation.
Our children must be free to shine.
Finally, anyone can become a household.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You Go Flip, a real estate gaming platform that allows you to play and stand a chance of winning a house or cash or consolidated prizes, such as savings towards a house. Simple and easy to play. Visit www.yougoflip.com. Buy a ticket to enter the game. Wait for the end of the game to enjoy the win. Anyone can win. Flip it or own it. You Go Flip. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Play responsibly, not for persons below 18 years, and gaming can be addictive.
Hello again. Now, 3 months ago, Citi News highlighted the dangers faced by passengers without life jackets when crossing the River Oti at Chingagi in the Nanumba South, the district of the northern region. Now, fortunately, a non-governmental organization called Ecozoil has stepped in to address this issue. They have provided approximately 50 life jackets to the boat operators for the safety of passengers. Our correspondent Mohammed Aminu M. Alabera visited the riverside and has come through with this report.
Passengers crossing the River Oti at Chichai are now relieved and feel much safer whilst boarding the boats. Every passenger on board now has access to a life jacket, which is excellent news for both operators and passengers. A few months ago, Citi News reported on the dangerous conditions of crossing the river. During that time, life jackets were not available and the boats were often overloaded.
We are really suffering in this particular area, and we are only praying that maybe philanthropists will come out, will come closer to us and then see how they can solve our problem.
They are not safe at all. You see, the boat that they even use, it is leaking. So sometimes the water can penetrate, and when the water penetrates, you see that it's going to sink, and people are going to lose their lives.
If you are using motorbike and today is market day, you see that there is overloaded. Yes, so we are afraid. Even the machines too. When we are entering inside, the way they are sparking it refuses to spark.
In response to that report, the non-governmental organization Ecozoil has come to the aid of numerous passengers who rely on this daily route by providing life jackets. Now, anyone crossing the river can have peace of mind knowing that their lives are protected. Citi News visited the river bank and spoke with some of the passengers who expressed their excitement about this intervention.
The malam fani titi. The dan fani manyala na we to check a gamuno. The gama yan chama ka pazu sa kapitonya yom yi akanyo vle nabian. Jira cheka ai kenjia asubene kadama de ditenan gam. Anyala ngunya fim tanga bi ampazo sa na betenya yom yaga kanya vole na be meji kodo ole so nyala tawtere board na be malame dama tike kom perla de puni to kom ne kwa de pumare tiane tenya sonsum kap malle titi tatalanke ka kom ma kamba ay karkani.
The leader of the boat operators, Furu Isa, informed Citi News that they have undergone training on operating the boats and how to save lives in case of any disaster.
We went for basic training at Accra, Tamale. What do we call it? I forgot of the company. Yes. So we went there and then they trained us to come and assist those working here.
He further stated that the provision of life jackets is greatly appreciated and will ensure the safety of all those using this route.
So when we went there and they trained us, we talked to them that we have boats, but we lack of life jackets. So they should try and help us to get life jackets. Fortunately, we get it. When we get it, in fact, we pray for more, because when by getting to 1 year time, we would like the life jacket some of them will spoil, and so we will need more.
One notable observation by Citi News is that the boat operators and their assistants do not wear life jackets. Only the passengers do. The leader explained to Citi News that since they are proficient swimmers, they prioritize ensuring the passengers' safety.
We operators, we know how to swim, and then the children, they also know how to swim. If not accidental, none of them will live life in
so because you know how to swim, that's why you don't wear.
Yes, sir.
Allow the passengers to.
Yes,
sir. Yes,
wow.
sir.
Wow. Apart from the issue of life jacket, another major challenge is the condition of the boats. There is only one boat and a canoe ferrying passengers, and both are in poor condition. Both the canoe and the boat suffer from significant leaks, causing water to enter as they move. Passengers and boat operators constantly have to scoop out water whilst in transit and before loading. They earnestly appeal for a new boat. When passengers cross the river to reach Bimbila, they have to rely on tricycles, commonly known as yellow, and motorkings. Unfortunately, the road is in bad shape and accidents frequently occur, sometimes resulting in the loss of lives. Several tricycle drivers have spoken to Citi News about the condition of the road and its impact on their work.
Looking at the nature of the road, seriously, we are not all that finding things easy when we are picking passengers from here to Bimbila. The nature of the road is too bad, and so we are appealing to the government to come to our aid.
Passengers have also voiced their concerns about the road and are appealing to the government for intervention.
Boats at Chichage, that is the Oti River in the Nanumba South District, has no life jackets, and passengers' lives were at stake. And following that report, they have been provided with some life jackets. From Chichage, Mohammed Aminu M. Aladira, reporting for Citi News.
This is still the Citi Newsroom. Up next, CNR Business with Nashika Caesar.
Hello and welcome to CNR Business. My name is Nashika Caesar. Now, the President Akufo-Addo has renewed calls for African countries to explore the full potentials of its extractive industry earnings to meet the capital demands of the African Export and Import Bank, Afreximbank. This, the President believes, will offer economic resilience to domestic African businesses.
Giving a keynote address at the 30th AGM of the Afreximbank, President Akufo-Addo called for the exploration of the extractive sector of the African continent to meet its financial demands.
I believe that if we were able to gain greater control over the huge earnings that emanate from our extractive sectors and to plug the holes that permit significant outflows of illicit funds from the continent, we would be in a better position to assemble the monies necessary.
Meanwhile, the president of the Afreximbank also indicated the need to have quality assurance centers to ensure trade facilitations.
With the African Regional Standards Organization to harmonize trade standards across Africa. Using Afreximbank grant funding, over 155 standards have been harmonized, covering priority areas of automobile, medical equipment and pharmaceuticals, while work on textiles is ongoing. We thank the Islamic Bank Group, Islamic Development Bank Group and Badia for supporting us in providing the grant funding. We also recognize that setting standards is one thing, but having the infrastructure to implement them is another. So working with Bureau Veritas of France, we are building testing, inspection, and certification centers across Africa under the brand name Africa Quality Assurance Centers. The first project has been completed in West Africa, and others are underway in North and East Africa. In the next 4 years, we expect Africa Quality Assurance Centers to be dotted all over the continent, so that we can then begin to trade amongst ourselves with no problem with the non-tariff barrier that standards presents.
Away from that, Ghana's inflation rate is projected to climb further over the next 2 months, according to a recent forecast by IC Research Africa. This increase can be attributed to the unfavorable pricing effect of 3 new taxes and the recent hike in utility tariffs. Here's a detailed report on the matter.
After experiencing 4 consecutive months of declining headline inflation, Ghana faced a setback in May 2023. Inflation rose to 42.2%, up from the 41.2% in April. The primary driver of this marginal rise was an increase in food inflation during the period.
However, according to IC Africa's Ghana May 2023 inflation report, this trend is expected to continue. IC research suggests that while the unexpected 1% increase in headline inflation is not surprising, it is concerning. This rise can be attributed to the recent passage of Parliament excise duty and excise tax stamp, income tax and growth and sustainability levies, as well as the 18.4% and 9 to 15% hike in electricity and water tariffs, respectively. The analysis indicates that price pressures are likely to spill over into June 2023, aligning with the conclusion that the near-term outlook is clouded by elevated pricing expectations due to IMF-supported price-sensitive measures. These pressures are expected to persist over the next 2 months as manufacturers and distributors may gradually adjust prices in response to changing market conditions.
Now, financial analysts have described as premature the IMF statement that Ghana is steadily making economic progress after receiving the international tranche of $3 billion bailout. This comes after the IMF acknowledged positive signs of stabilization in the Ghanaian economy, indicating some progress in the implementation of the bailout program. There's more in the following reports.
The visit by the mission staff from the International Monetary Fund, IMF, was the first ever visit by the fund after its board approved Ghana's bailout on May 17. After its engagement with the Ghanaian authorities, the team experts led by Stefan Roeder in its statement indicated that the country's economy is recording positive signs of stabilization. The fund also urged government to ensure timely restructuring agreements with creditors as they are critical to securing the expected benefits of the $3 billion fund-supported program. But responding to this comment, economist with GCB Capital Limited, Courage Buti, said this assertion is hasty.
I would say it's too early at this point, especially when we haven't seen the hardcore fiscal data. The government of Ghana hasn't really updated the fiscal position since the start of the year. So we, even for last year, 2022, officially what is on the website is data as at July, really. So we haven't seen the updated numbers in detail from the central government or the Ministry of Finance to make any deductions as to what the improvements are on the fiscal side.
A finance lecturer at the University of Ghana Business School, Professor Lord Mensah, also maintains it is too early. However, such assertions could be made after the mid-year budget is read.
I mean, if we get into the second quarter, we read a budget, and the budget is able to integrate some of the conditions of the IMF. We build on into the third to the fourth quarter. Their last assessment, which will be somewhere in November, December. In that case, they can give us a vivid view of where the economy is, going. But for 3 weeks, 4 weeks of program to come and tell us that the economy has, started showing a signal, it's quite questionable. That's why I'm saying that the lens they are using in looking into the economy is different from where I sit.
Now, the Citi Business Festival 2023 is now in its third week and will focus on retail and consumer markets. This is to better equip businesses to survive consumer market uncertainties caused by global and local disruptions, as well as to better grasp changes in their landscape and become more competitive. The Citi Business Festival 2023 is now in its third week to better equip businesses began on today with Michael Kato, managing partner of Confidence, discussing the shifting landscape of the Ghanaian retail businesses. The weekly Citi TV Fora will also continue tomorrow. Former Trade Minister Robert Ahunkalensi, Michael Kato, CEO of Confidence, and Michael Harry Yamson, managing partner at Ishmael Yamson and Associates, and Grace Nimyebwa, Director of Business Banking and APSA, are among the panelists for Tuesday's forum, which is on retail and consumer markets. The Citi Business Festival 2023 is powered by Citi TV and Citi FM in partnership with APSA and is proudly sponsored by MTN Momo, MTN Business and ZPay with support from Gesell. And that's all for CNR Business. My name is Nashika Caesar.
And that's how we wrap up. But before we take leave of you, here is a look again at our top stories. Race for NPP presidential primaries intensifies as 5 candidates submit nominations, with Dr. Kofi Kunadu-Apreku, Dr. Efria Kutu, and Boache Jako among successful filers. And marks the dark side of mobile money as Citi Newsroom exposes rising wave of Momo fraud. President Akufo-Addo highlights the role of a strong financial institution in economic recovery amidst COVID-19 and Russia-Ukraine crisis, and calls for African unity to bolster Afreximbank. And water crisis looms in Tamale as NEDCO disconnects power to Ghana Water Company's treatment plant, citing massive debt of 39 million Ghana cedis. We have more news on our website, citinewsroom.com. Subscribe to CityTube on YouTube for more exclusive video content from Citi TV. Many thanks for your time. I'm Frema Edunyame.